saved you, cried the woman. And you've bit me. Heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Oh, shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. Does that make sense to any?
Yeah, the Fed's balance sheet actually shrinking again, down quite a bit by $73.8 billion to $8.59 trillion, and that since last week. So maybe a few more signs of stability in here. Borrowing at the Fed's discount window fell by $18.5 billion, and that is the third decline in a row. Originally, after the bank failure of Silicon Valley Bank, banks went to the emergency discount window and they borrowed in size. And the past 3 weeks, they have reduced that total borrowing. It's still at $69.7 billion. They went to the Bank Term Funding Program. That's the new facility the Fed put together, and that allowed them to basically give paper at par value, at least, and get a loan on that. That actually increased, so they're definitely showing a preference for the new funding program, which seems to be a bit of a better deal for them than they are for the discount window. That went up by $14.6 billion to $79 billion. And there's that bridge loan that they gave. That's down slightly. At least it's not getting worse in terms of the total funding of $174.6 billion. So, I'm thinking of calling this the Fed salad buffet is what I'm thinking of calling it, where you can go and get all sorts of things from the Fed salad buffet. And they like the Bank Term Funding Program. They're taking that. Meanwhile, the Fed is kind of winnowing down the size of the buffet in general, because remember, quantitative tightening is still going on. And so the Fed's total number of treasuries went down by about $50 billion week to week. So that's where we're at. There's still some level of stress out there, more than there was before the failure of Silicon Valley Bank, but it's certainly not as high as it was in the immediate weeks after it.
And guys, tomorrow is Good Friday, so we don't have to worry about options, and then also seeing me Sunday night. So we should get liquidity in, but I'll go over that tomorrow. I just wanted to give an update. Let's get into the video. Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, we know Trump reading the snake poem can be read to all politicians. We know they play the Hegelian dialectic to divide and conquer, so therefore they can move the NWO's agenda forward. And guys, we see the Fed salad buffet. When you're printing money, guys, you can create whatever menu you want to. And guys, with this banking crisis, we know for a fact that this was planned out over a decade ago. And because the mainstream media plays the Hegelian dialectic, there's no way that you can convince the sheep that their lives are planned out 10 and 20 years ahead. Remember, your life is an illusion, and TV is your reality. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you.
Ability emerge as the Fed does continue its tightening path?
I think that's a really good question. It seems like the Fed created a program. Maybe it had this in the works previously. It saw what the problem was. And the problem, remember, Morgan, is not a problem of collateral. The banks had plenty of collateral and plenty of good collateral. That's all a sort of post-Dodd-Frank thing of having high capital liquidity ratios, plenty of stuff. It was just had the wrong marks on it because they were out a little bit too far relative to the liquidity that was maybe needed because people got nervous about their deposits in the wake of SVB. So here's the thing. If you had a hole in the dike and you were saying, okay, I need to create something, I need a piece of stone to fill it, this seems like the right solution to the problem. And Jim Bullard from St. Louis was talking about today. He says he thinks that it seems to be working. It seems to be okay. Look, some of the bank stocks were even up today, even though they're obviously from a very low level. So it seems like on the fly, the Fed designed the right program for the specific problem that's there. And they still have the discount window. They needed this new program that said, if your mark is 80, come to me and I'll fund it at 100. And there won't be any loss for anywhere in the system here, and you'll pay an interest rate on it.
Okay. Steve Leisman, thank you for bringing us that breaking news on the H41 report, a.k.a. the Fed's salad buffet. Have a good weekend.
And guys, we know the debt ceiling, Trump, Russia versus Ukraine, China, Russia versus the world, the BRICS. All this is to bring in the fourth industrial revolution, Society 5.0. And we have CNBC again playing the Hegelian dialectic. Yes, automation is going to come in, but it's not going to affect jobs. Guys, we're already seeing tech jobs lay off because they know the free money is gone. And then on top of it, Biden is bringing in the taxes. And why is he doing that? To destroy this legacy market. And of course, if I can see it, all these economists definitely can see it. And we are witnessing Babylon 2.0 fall to its knees. And while these banks are collapsing, we're steady seeing the media pushing, talking about Bitcoin and crypto because they know these digital assets are going to replace this current financial system. So why they just don't say that? Because they don't want you to be educated. The same way they don't teach finances in school. If you understood the system, it would never work. And remember, the crypto teacher told you because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
The company betting big on automation to boost productivity and profits. Melissa Repko back in studio after attending the company's investment community meeting down in Tampa. And I know one of the things that stood out to you, Melissa, is how much automation Walmart is bringing to its distribution centers.
Yes, Walmart really emphasized how it is using automation to boost profits and how this will be a major push in the coming years as it tries to kind of squeeze every drop out of sales. Of course, as sales are moving online, those sales become more expensive. And so it's looking at ways to do that more smartly. And one of the ways is by speeding things along with the help of robots.
And that certainly implies fewer people.
Well, that is a question that came up. And I asked Doug McMillon that, CEO Doug McMillon, and he said he does not anticipate that it will actually shrink the number of headcount, but it may shift them to other parts of the company. So instead of having as many people at the fulfillment centers or the distribution centers like the one we saw, and both are being automated in different ways, they might be helping with curbside pickup orders. They might be personal shoppers at the store running around once those robots help replenish shelves and either packing them in a box or getting them ready for someone to pick up outside of the store.
How much of today's sort of fulfillment, let's put it that way, is automated this way versus how much they want to have fulfilled this way in X years?
For Walmart, it's still extremely early in the process. So we saw one of the distribution centers, but ultimately they plan to roll that out to the other 41 of the kind of the shelf-stable, the non-perishable distribution centers. So think things like diapers and Campbell's soup. That's the kind of thing that we saw these robots they were taking them out of trailers and putting them together into pallets that were organized by department, by aisle, so that when they arrive in the back of the store, that worker can unpack them, get them to shelves more quickly, and of course then make it possible for those personal shoppers in some cases or customers to buy those items.
To buy the items.
Bitcoin and Ether both lower this morning. Bitcoin off by more than 1%, Ether down by more than 2% ahead of Friday's jobs report. Now, in the last year, it's often been macroeconomic data that has the biggest impact on crypto prices. The concern is that any signs of inflation in this jobs data could translate into more aggressive rate hikes by the Fed in order to temper inflation. But as we close in on 1 month since the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, it's been a really incredible run in the crypto market overall. Bitcoin and Ether have far outperformed bank stocks since March 10th, following the collapse of SVB, Silvergate, and Signature banks. That dovetails with this narrative that as people lost confidence in the traditional banking system, decentralized digital currencies were a more attractive safe haven play. We've seen Bitcoin tracking higher alongside gold in the last month. Meanwhile, Ether hitting a 9-month high and outperforming Bitcoin this week ahead of a big upgrade that's happening on April 12th.
Of this upgrade that starts from the launch of a proof-of-stake network, the merge of the original proof-of-work chain into the proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. And now the question is, if you stake your Ether, can you get liquidity and the ability to withdraw that staked Ether? And to date, you haven't been able to do that last piece. You've been able to stake your assets, you've been able to generate a yield, but if you wanted to sell any of it, you can't. So the Shanghai upgrade is about getting liquidity on that staked ETH. the ability to withdraw.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
It's Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate. Not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Tam save New York. COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.